Hey y'all, CB here at MDS Welding. Got a aluminum wheel. Feller just dropped off an aluminum wheel here. Let's check it out. This nice looking aluminum wheel this fella had. He's had this for a while and he's had these wheels powder coated quite some time ago. And back here on the back, you're probably not going to be able to see this, but there is a crack right there. He gave me some video, which is I'll include, that's really cool, that shows when this had a tire on it and there was air in it and he was squirting soapy water on it and it leaked. So let's check that out. So what I propose is going to go down here. I'm going to get my sander and remove the powder coat. Then I'm going to get one of the large tooth burr bits that I use for aluminum, and I'm going to start into this crack and get her opened up real good. And then we'll bust out my favorite AC TIG machine, this ARCCAPTAIN TIG200P. We'll get out the TIG200P and get this thing zipped up for this guy. Let's do it. Getting going on this, sanding the aluminum and the powder coat. Whenever I'm doing this, I'm putting on this respirator. These are way better than just the dust mask, and this combination of the respirator and the goggle. If you go to my Amazon storefront, there's a link in the description of all my videos where it'll take you to my Amazon storefront, and you'll see this combination of this respirator and goggle. They got a pretty good price on it. And the reason I use this combination of respirator and goggle is not only you get a pretty good price on the combination, but any other form of eye protection doesn't seem to work for me with the respirator. If I try and use my safety glasses or something else with the respirator, they don't fit tight enough to keep, the respirator pushes them away. Now, when you got this combination of the respirator and the goggle, they work really well. And there's another thing here. I'm using the Makita die grinder, which is, you'll see those on my Amazon storefront too. Just click on the link in the description of my video and you can check out these items on the Amazon storefront that we've got. And another thing I'm using there that you can get on Amazon is the burr bits. These are special burr bits for aluminum. The burr bits I use for aluminum are a lot coarser. If you try and use your regular burr bits for steel on aluminum, they really get galled up with aluminum very easy. And like I say, with pretty much all of the things I work on where aluminum galding is an issue, I use beeswax and it works real good. So using the die grinder and the different tools that I did, you can see here how on the inside of this wheel, the visible part, I started there and I got that beveled out. I did drill a couple of holes in it, and the thing that you'll notice when you're looking at it right now after all this wire brushing is you'd say, hey man, you're wasting your time. There's no crack there. You're going to see in a little bit, there's definitely a crack there. These are the ARCCAPTAIN 2% thoriated tungstens that I'm using, the blue tungstens. I'm pretty sure my TIG200P came with the red tungsten. And I used those, and I didn't have any problem really with the red ones. But there's a guy, if some of you, I'm sure, have seen Cody with weldingtipsandtricks.com, and I had seen one of his videos where he was saying he switched to the blue and uses them for everything. So instead of having a tungsten for aluminum and a tungsten for steel, he uses the blue for everything. So I started doing that, and it's worked out. What I'm showing you here is the gas lens. These are also on my Amazon storefront. This is the stubby gas lens that I've gone to, and The gas lens is real popular, but I want you to know that the regular diffusers that are not the gas lens, they work fine. I do think the gas lens is maybe a little better, but to say it's the end all be all, gotta have it, that's not the case. So, and for aluminum here with this inverter welder, you'll see I don't have that razor sharp like you would do if you were going to do some real precision thin stainless or mild steel, but I've just sharpened it to a point. And it'll probably round off. They round off, you know, when you're running the AC TIG on aluminum. But I wanted to go over some of this stuff because it might help some people just set up their torch. And there's one issue that I run into all the time, and we're going to show you that here in a second. I got a number 5 ceramic cup here. I'm going to be putting that on there. And when I use the stubby stuff, you'll see I'm pushing that tungsten in, and that's as far in as it'll go. And I wanted to show you that because that's an issue I run into when I use the stubby stuff. And you just can't back it out enough to get it where it needs to be. This is where it needs to be for me to get started, and that might be sticking out a little too far. But these inverter welders, you can have it sticking out a little bit. And what I've done is I've just ground enough off the tungsten that it fits in there. You just got to grind a little bit extra. Next thing on setup, a lot of people ask me about setup, and I just want to go over what I've got it set on. I had 95 amps, 6 seconds of post gas flow, 80 hertz, 30% AC balance, and 2 seconds of pre-flow. Now, I find out in a little bit that 95 amps is not enough for this job, and I end up turning it up. And I'm on the square wave here with no pulse. I usually do that. On aluminum, thick enough aluminum, square wave, no pulse. I got a plug in here for my t-shirts. These are my NBS welding t-shirts. If you'd be interested in buying a t-shirt, it'd be $25 plus shipping and handling. Send Tina an email request for a t-shirt and get you an NBS welding t-shirt. Also mention again that, you know, you can click the link in the description to our Amazon storefront, and you'll be able to see a lot of the products that I use in my videos. If you want to get the same stuff, you can do that. All right, let's get back to work on this wheel. So I start out, like I said, on 95 amps, and I find out that that's not enough. And this wheel is pretty much giving me the same deal as a lot of the cast aluminum that I dealt with. It's contaminated. It's really contaminated, and that's an issue when you're TIG welding, and you just got to deal with it. My cousin Vance, I got a cousin Vance I just love dearly. He's got a lot of experience as a fireman, and he would probably see this video and be like, dude, you're an idiot, because look, what I'm doing here is I've set this wheel on a blanket, and I'm not paying attention to the fact that I'm setting the blanket on fire as I'm welding on it. But if you'll see up underneath there, here I am welding on this blanket, and like my cousin Vance would probably be like, dude, you're an idiot. You should have been knowing that you were going to set that blanket on fire. But that blanket's actually sitting there burning. So my cousin with so much experience as a fireman would say that that was a stupid thing that I did. But I did burn the blanket up, and I got rid of that. So here, you know, you can see I've got some porosity. There's contamination. But the other interesting thing is, with a little heat applied, look at this crack showing itself. You know, just a minute ago, it was like you didn't even see a crack there, and now the crack is so obvious. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to keep a rod at the ready, but I'm probably not going to dip. The technique that I'm doing right now, after I've seen how contaminated this is I'm doing what I call etching the aluminum. And what I'm pretty much doing is I'm just floating that TIG torch over top of the steel, or over top of the aluminum in the weld zone. And as I'm doing that, I'm trying to float out as much of those impurities as I can. And you don't really want to get the aluminum molten. You don't really want to form a puddle if you're etching. You're just using your argon and your heat to clean it up. And this is what it looks like when it's been etched. You see some of the, of course, you see the crack really well, which is nice because it's a relief when you've drilled holes and you're doing this. It's a relief to see that, see, I know now I'm in the right spot. I've definitely found the crack, and I definitely got my holes at the ends of the crack, and so that's all good. And after etching on it, I've wire brushed it with a stainless steel wire brush pretty aggressively, and I'm going back with my end grinder and my aluminum burr bit. And what I'm doing is that little bit of weld I put in there that I felt like was contaminated and cold, I'm taking that out. And here I am. You run your burr bit a little bit and you get your burr bit warm, and then you take your beeswax and you treat your burr bit, and with it a little warm, it'll sort of melt the end of your beeswax, and that'll get it, sticking to your burr bit. And here I've really speeded this up because it's a whole bunch of welding. So we formed a weld here on the inside. So we're at the point where it's about time to go to work on the other side. And on the other side, knowing what I know about the contamination, obviously I'm doing some etching, grinding into it, wire brushing, and then ultimately at the end, welding it up, fixing it up. So this is what we look like. This is our weld, which I'm saying is on the outside, but it's sort of on the inside if you say that this part is inside where the tire would be. But anyway, whatever you want to call the inside or the outside, I know we've got this crack welded up really well, and I think the guy's going to get away with that being where it's at. He can touch up with black paint and probably not have to have this powder coated right away. So I wanted to show you guys where I end up on the heat. I ended up at 130, still 6 seconds of post flow, still 80 hertz. I turned the AC balance up to 35%, hoping that would give me a little more cleaning action, and the 2 seconds of pre-flow. So those are the settings I ended up with. And we got her dead. I want to thank y'all for watching NBS Welding, and learn how to work with what you got. That way you'll always have everything you need.